One mistake almost ruined her entire future. Am I the a-hole for trying to help my daughter after she plagiarized part of a university essay? My daughter has always been a good kid and a strong student. She's in her first year of university, and like a lot of students, she found the transition overwhelming. Even so, she'd been keeping up with her classes and earning decent grades. Then everything changed because of one English essay. While researching the assignment, she searched online for ideas. She ended up copying a few sentences from other people's work and included them in her essay. Her professor caught it. Now she was facing a disciplinary hearing, and nobody knew what the punishment would be. Best case scenario, she'd get an F on the essay. Worst case scenario, she'd fail the entire course. She wouldn't even find out for a couple of weeks. She completely fell apart. She'd never been in trouble before. She was ashamed, terrified, and constantly worrying about what was going to happen. As her mom, I didn't really know what to do. I wanted to help her, but I also knew I couldn't pretend she hadn't done something wrong. I told her she needed to go into the hearing, admit exactly what she'd done, and not try to argue her way out of it. I told her not to make excuses. I told her to accept whatever punishment they gave her and never make this mistake again. I figured that was the only honest way forward. Relevant comment. One commenter said they'd actually served on an academic honor board for several years. They explained that students often underestimate how seriously plagiarism is treated. According to them, if this was only a few copied sentences and it was her first offense, she needed to truly understand why plagiarism is wrong. Not because she got caught, but because she stole someone else's work. They also warned that begging, making excuses, or acting like the victim would only make things worse. Instead, she needed to fully accept responsibility, explain why what she did was wrong, and show how she'd avoid ever doing it again. The commenter also warned me not to attend the hearing myself because my presence could actually hurt her case. I replied that I completely agreed. I explained that my daughter absolutely knew she'd made a huge mistake. She wasn't planning to deny anything. From everything she'd told me, she'd only copied a few sentences instead of an entire paper. But I knew plagiarism was still plagiarism. I just hoped she'd learn from it. Make sure you follow for more videos posted daily. Update. 6 weeks later, I wanted to come back and let everyone know what happened. First, I realized I'd made a mistake in my original title. I said my daughter had been accused of plagiarism. That wasn't accurate. She wasn't accused. She actually did it. After everything settled down, she explained exactly what had happened. While researching, she'd taken a huge number of notes. Some of those notes were her own thoughts. Some were comments she'd copied from websites. She made one major mistake. She never labeled where those notes came from. So when it came time to write the essay, she accidentally mixed together her own writing with material she'd copied from the internet. That doesn't excuse what happened, but it did explain how she ended up submitting plagiarized work. Before the hearing, she met with an academic advocate who explained exactly what to expect. The advocate warned her that the most common punishment was failing both the assignment and the entire course. So she mentally prepared herself for the worst. Even though the hearing hadn't happened yet, there were still classes left and a final exam to take. She could have given up. She could have skipped class and assumed she'd already failed anyway. Instead, she kept showing up. She attended every remaining class. She studied as hard as she could for the final exam. And she gave it everything she had. When the hearing finally arrived, she followed the advice I'd given her and the advice many people had shared. She explained exactly what happened. She didn't make excuses. She accepted responsibility. The professor listened carefully. Then the professor said something that surprised her. They said it reflected well on her character that she'd continued attending class and completed the final exam. Apparently, many students in that situation simply stop showing up because they assume they're going to fail anyway. A few days later, she finally received the decision. She was given an F on the paper. The assignment was worth 15% of her final grade. But she did not fail the course. The professor told her she'd performed well throughout the rest of the semester, and because of that, she'd still have a chance to pass. The professor also made one thing crystal clear. She'd made an incredibly foolish mistake, and if she ever plagiarized again, she shouldn't expect the same outcome. Thankfully, I think she truly learned her lesson. So tell me, am I the a-hole